You know what it is. After almost an hour of technical difficulties, Bro Bets Week 6 recap back for action. This is the Bro Bets show brought to you by Bro Bro Media as Parlay Hunter gets his mic settled over there. I'm over here.
I'm Parlay Hunter. My mic is
man,
awesome.
bro. Hey man, I'm gonna have to really email YouTube tomorrow. I see why we need a Steve Jobs in every corporate because that should be a lot easier than it was. Like I know I'm a half a bit of like kind of Bobby Boucher, but like doggone,
You
like
got it? Hey, it's
yeah,
only the
it's
second
good.
time. It's only the second time we've done this. So, I mean,
Yeah, bro, but that
it's
should
all
be
good.
that should be to be, and the fact that's not available. I'm gonna just let you know this. I have to let the people. The fact that's not available for laptops. That's kind of ancient.
Yeah.
Laptops are like the way of business and everything nowadays. So,
Exactly. Come on, get it together, YouTube.
anyways, man, let's get into this right away, man. Worst loss of the week, man. I mean, obviously there was two undefeated teams coming into this. The Philadelphia Eagles, the San Francisco 49ers, happened to be the NFC Championship game last year. Who would you say has the worst, took the worst L this week? As far as the undefeated teams that had undefeated, no longer undefeated.
Man, I have to say Philly, but it's one of those things. Oh my gosh. I love about the Chick-fil-A honey pepper. Shut up. Sorry.
Honey pepper chicken wings, huh? That's what you got on your mind over there?
ESPN ads, like seriously, like you guys make enough money. You don't need to run ads like on your websites that I don't choose to listen to. So shout out to ESPN trying to, basically piss us off with more advertisements. You guys are annoying for that. Also, I didn't choose to listen to the ad. I'm going to go with Philadelphia losing to the Jets. But it is kind of weird where, like, isn't it kind of just like reminds you where, like, because last week we were saying, like no weird stuff, Vegas, and, Carolina went up 14-0 on Miami in the first quarter half. Like a lot of weird stuff happened. There's no more undefeated teams, and that's the NFL. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if, we'll ever. I mean, I'm sure it will happen one day, but like an undefeated team like really doesn't happen. I mean, it's a really hard thing to do to win, 5-6 games in a row.
Well, I mean, the team that I think took a worse loss because it exposed a little bit more. Although the Eagles' loss was very heartbreaking, they lost to the Jets with no Aaron Rodgers and no Sauce Gardner. But I'm gonna have to go in the other direction. I'm gonna have to roll with the San Francisco 49ers. I got a lot of San Fran hate. Starting back from week 1 into the preseason, but
Right.
for a good reason. We got to see Brock Purdy without his weapons. We got Debo got hurt in the second. McCaffrey got hurt in the first, second, somewhere after he scored his touchdown. No more anytime touchdown soon, I don't think. I think at least he'll be out a couple weeks with a abdominal injury. I don't know what Debo's is called yet or what's being questioned, but we got to see Brock Purdy turn from this everybody believing he's the next great Joe Burrow, Now he's actually looking like Mr. Irrelevant. Late throws, indecisive decisions.
So, yeah, that's the best defense he's gone against.
Oh yeah, but I mean it's still the Cleveland Browns and my Pittsburgh Steelers. We beat the Cleveland Browns on Monday night, and a lot of people hate on to say that we're not a playoff team. So I mean, if Cleveland beat an NFC championship contender and we beat Cleveland, then what does that make us?
It doesn't mean anything. Like that's that. I know you're mathematically trying to break down wins and losses into somehow the Steelers are one of the best teams in the NFL, but that's just not how it works.
You could fuck
matchups. I mean, bro, I commend you on your dedication to the Steelers and to the finding, to try to find like a bright side on the season that you guys are having. I don't know if we're going to talk about the Steelers today, but
side, and we're only in week 6. Look how you're talking.
What do you want, bro? What do you?
Let's
I'm
find
not
the right
saying.
side to New
I'm
York.
telling you the truth. I'm
Let's,
telling you the truth.
let's find
Like,
the right side to New York Giants. At least they put up a fight this week without.
we don't have to get into this.
But
We
we'll
don't really don't have to get into this. I mean, like, bro, what do you? I mean,
no,
I don't know
wasn't.
what your idea of the Steelers is,
I
but
wasn't.
they're not better than a mediocre
But
team in the NFL.
make it about the Steelers. Going back to what was the question, who took the worst loss? I feel like 49ers did because to me it exposed a little bit more. I think the Eagles' loss was bad in the fact it was the Jets, no Aaron Rodgers. I think the Eagles have came into most of these games this year very lethargic, very lazy. They're not getting a good passing game. Devontae Smith dropped a couple passes. We've seen today Julio Jones was signed, so is that ironic? Getting ready for a very important Sunday night game, I believe they play Miami at home wearing the classic Philadelphia 80s jersey. So I'm saying Philly to me, I know their problem is themselves. The 49ers now got exposed that what can Brock Purdy do when the 49ers lose some weapons because this is the NFL and I'm not wishing injuries on nobody, but we know that nobody's safe from injuries and 49ers usually this is where they start to lose some players to injuries, especially on offense. And I'm not praying for his downfall. I wish him to be very healthy. CMC. I love CMC. But
yeah, it's not a season-ending injury.
But I'm still saying historically Christian McCaffrey has been very injury prone. Up until this point being on the 49ers, this is the first time he's really been injured with the 49ers. So for me, now there's a lot of pressure on Brock Purdy now. How do you shake back? This was the game that they're coming up on this Monday night that you predicted to go different in the preseason. You said the Vikings may get him. And if Justin Jefferson was playing in this game, I think the Vikings would have a great chance. But now I want to see Brock Purdy come into a hostile environment in Minneapolis, Minnesota, to the US Bank Stadium, and I want to see him at least do what Dak Prescott did last night. Throw for at least 275 yards and a couple of touchdowns. So, any last remarks until or you want to move into the next point about how about them boys last night?
I'll just say this. Philadelphia clearly is they don't really I mean, you could honestly say they don't play exciting football because they hold the ball for a whole quarter. The whole first quarter they hold the ball. They have 13 plays that take up 12 minutes of the quarter and then they give the team to the ball. And honestly, you got enough playmakers on that offense that you need. I feel like why aren't you throwing the ball more, running up the scores?
Well,
if that, but I'm just saying they are capable of doing that. But we have seen it every week this week of them just holding the ball and taking the clock down. And it's almost like, what are you afraid of Jalen Hurts throwing the ball? Like it does, like I don't, you know what I mean? Like doesn't really make like you can win by throwing the ball. You don't have to hold the ball for the whole quarter. It's they're trying to control the clock and I just feel like it's cool to do it in the right situation, but to do it every week like they've been doing, it's not going to work for the rest of the season. And teams are going to figure it out and they're going to beat you. So I mean, good for the Jets, but yeah, that's it.
It's cool when they do it. It's a problem when I do it. Fuck it. Birds of feather. They flock together. Anyways, shout out to Finesse 2 times. But no, I get what you're saying. My last point to this whole Eagles 49ers, back onto the Eagles. Just let's keep this in reflection and in consideration. We're watching the game now. I'm watching the game now as a fan, and I have those fan questions now that I used to didn't think about because I was such a football junkie guy, a very film guy, and I understand. But now, as a fan's perspective, fans definitely put more credibility on the coaching staff. They're coming in with a new offensive coordinator this year. So he's starting to understand what team he has. They're leaning on their identity being more run heavy than it was last year because now they have a running back that feels that they fit their system perfect in DeAndre Swift. And I think that this guy is not confident in his schemes and his concepts passing wise. You have AJ Brown over there. Now you have Julio and now you have Devontae Smith. If you can keep those guys healthy, Julio is 34, 35 years old, but he can still probably ball enough to be a number 2, number 3 receiver. So that will be interesting to see. Hey, they got an important Sunday night at home, like I said, versus the Miami Dolphins. I predict that this game, because I predict there was a lot of unders in last week in a lot of games. I definitely think this game goes over. I think Philadelphia makes a statement here. I'm not calling no winner yet until we get there, but I just think that you'll see a better Philadelphia. They'll play with way more enthusiasm on offense. To me, their defense didn't play bad. I think they held them to 20 points late, but that late score they gave it to them because they gave them the score. They let them run the ball because they knew that they were going to get the time back. But so really, their defense hasn't been such a problem. It has been the offense, and that's weird because they just played Jalen Hurts, and we're trying to figure out what he's going to do. On to last night, Monday Night Football. How about them Cowboys in my skip voice? Dak 275, 21 for 30, and a tub. CD Lamb 7 for 114. Micah Parsons showing up. Big time players making big plays in big moments. And not to mention, about time, I said this in the preseason, they got Brandon Cooks involved. The dude can still ball. I think this is a major big win for the Cowboys. This is a tough loss for the Chargers. I don't know, man. Justin Herbert's my fantasy quarterback right now, but he's looking kind of different than normal. I'm not going to say he's not because he did show a lot of good moments, but doesn't it look like he's less efficient and less kind of smooth in the pocket, running a lot more too, bro? He took a lot of hits last night that I was surprised that he was going to tuck the ball and run, but I mean, the Dallas defensive line, you have to do that. But all in all, on my main point to take away from this great win for them in this moment. They needed this win. It could have been some bad headlines for them. I think this is a momentum builder for them. I want to see them get the run game going. I'm kind of disappointed in Tony Pollard right now. How do you feel about last night?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're totally right about Herbert. I put a lot of the blame on Brandon. I put all the blame on Brandon Staley.
A lot of Brandon hate from you.
Yeah, no, I've never been a fan. And I think that the thing about the Chargers defense is that their pass rush is really good, actually. And I think that, I mean, they had 5 sacks as well, and you can see it in every game that they do get after the quarterback. I mean, pass rush is so important when it comes to the playoffs. So they actually, on defense, I actually think they're okay. I mean, it was nice to see, especially CD Lamb get to that 117. We haven't seen that all season, so I think that that's really important for the Cowboys, getting CD Lamb a big game. Brandon Cooks, like you said, he started to open up more. You could see they were trying to get him involved, but now he can really be a wide receiver too for them. So that can be great. And I mean, I'm a little disappointed actually, though. I think that, I mean, with the Diggs injury is pretty bad. I think that the defense is holding up. I just expected when they lost earlier in the season, you do expect kind of the Cowboys right away to be like I don't know, like a top, one of the best teams in the NFL, the way that the hype was in the beginning of the year. So, I mean, I just think that both these teams have a lot to work on still. It was 20-17. They both scored on that first drop in the first quarter right away, and then it slowed down. And I think I had a lot to do with the pass rush. And I think both these teams have a good pass rush. Dallas didn't collect as many sacks, but I mean, just on film, the pass rush looks good. I don't really take a lot from this game. I think both of these teams are pretty mid still. I'm not like, this wasn't. I took a lot more from the Browns beating the 49ers than I did from the Cowboys beating the Chargers here. Neither of these teams, who are supposed to be, the hype train is so big on both of these teams, but I mean, I don't know if both of these teams are going to, make the playoffs. I mean, I think the Cowboys will, but maybe not. I mean, I don't know. You got to be, Philly's going to have to probably win the division, and then you got to get the wild card. And Cowboys, they're 4-2, but the only thing that really helps them is the rest of their schedule is no, actually, I don't know the rest of their schedule. The Jets have an easy schedule. I don't know the rest of the Cowboys schedule, but we'll see. I mean, I think that you said the most important points. I think Brandon Cooks and
I don't think. Yeah, not to cut you off. I'm not saying
that's it.
This is a game-changing game as far as playoff contentions. I just think it's a momentum game. A lot of energy was lost from the Cowboys to that 49ers loss. Was shellacked, lost their pretty much lost their man balls and everything. You know, they were just stripped of a lot, bro. You know, they were just like they were.
I just don't know if the Chargers are going to end their season better than 500.
Yeah, and it's not to say that the Chargers were a good team. I just feel like now people are still saying, okay, without Trayvon Diggs, people are always going to hate on the Cowboys. I'm not a super fan, but I respect good players. They still got Stephon Gilmore there, made the clutch interception late in the game. So what I'm saying is, and I'm with Keyshawn Johnson. I think Mike McCarthy is a good head coach. I think too much is given, or too much is always taken away from the Cowboys because of who their owner is and having too much control and power. And I think if they had a different owner, the Cowboys, a lot of people wouldn't hate the Cowboys. And I think the Cowboys would be better for who they are. So I just want to see Mike McCarthy make the right decisions. You had a good game.
I think people hate the Cowboys because of the fan base more so than Jerry Jones. But the fan base is just obnoxious.
But Jerry,
no offense.
Jerry created that. Because, I mean, Jerry created that by making it America's team when he bought it back. Bro, like, Cowboys weren't, nobody, you got to remember, the reason why Cowboy fan base is like that, because they did have a tradition of winning. They've won 5 Super Bowls. Now, have they won in the last 30 years? 20 years? No. But they were winning when I was born, 93, 94, 95, somewhere in there. They, the triplets, Troy Aikman, Michael Irvin, Emmitt Smith. So that's how it created. And over time, they always just had big players, and Jerry Jones having the money to make them, media driven. That's what it was. But now, yeah, is CeeDee Lamb still a number 1 receiver to me? No. I'm agreeing with Richard Sherman on that.
And you said that early in the season, and I was disagreeing with that, but he just had a 100-yard game, so you do make a good point, I think.
He's not, to me, I would trust Brandon Cooks more than I would trust CeeDee Lamb.
Michael Gallup is borderline wide receiver 2 now. You saw that big drop he had. I just don't think either of these teams are very good, to be honest. And also, they let up 5 sacks. That was the second game that the whole O-line was finally at full health. 5 sacks is not really a good game for y'all. So if y'all were expecting, we got our O-line back, it's going to be good. Well, we haven't seen it yet, Yeah.
So all in all, man, I think,
they didn't. It's not like they put up 20 points against a mediocre defense. They're good defense, but mediocre.
It was a very exciting game for a Monday night. Huge takeaway.
Yeah.
On to the next segment, man. Are the Bengals back? They went and had a home game this week versus Seattle Seahawks coming in. Seattle was 3-1. Bengals were 3. They were actually 2-3 coming into this game, and so they won 17-13. Joe Burrow threw for 24 for 35, 185, 2 tubs and an interception. Geno Smith threw for 27-41, 323 yards and 2 interceptions. What's your biggest takeaway from this?
Well, he only had 62 yards, but man, Kenneth Walker is a dog. The way that he runs, he got him on the board early. I think that. My biggest take. For the Seattle Seahawks, it was that Kenneth Walker might be the best running back in the league in a year or two. Jamar Chase is balling. I think that we're gonna see Jamar Chase stats now for the rest of the season. He had a slow start, but Joey B, it's this was one of my Super Bowl picks at the beginning of the year, but something looks off, on offense. They slowed down a lot in the second half. I felt like their pace was about, a lot faster in the first half. But then again, I think that it became a defensive game in the second half. And in the second half, it was, don't let Seattle. If Seattle had a chance to get the ball, get the ball and score, but Geno threw a late game interception that sealed the win for Cincinnati. So, yeah, I guess it's pretty good for the Bengals defense to only allow 13 points to the Seattle Seahawks. That's my biggest takeaway from it. And Cincinnati defense, if you guys could, play it used to be like this between the offense and the defense. Now it's starting to become a little bit like this. So, I think that's what Cincinnati should try to do, try to rely on, and make sure that that defense, holds it there. Because I mean, if the defense is good, they really do look scary in the playoffs. So that's yeah. I mean, my biggest takeaway is Cincinnati defense. I mean, keep on keeping on, man. Keep this team uh above 500, possibly go win the division. You got the Browns in there. I don't know when Deshaun's going to come back, and he might. It's a lot of these games are just matchups. You know what I mean? It's based a lot on matchups, and had to have to just say good job for the Cincinnati defense. That's me. That's what I got to say.
Perfect. I mean, I don't take too much away from the game. I thought it was be an exciting game. I'm not opposed to seeing good defense being played, but I just thought more points would be put up on the board. One thing that you say your takeaway, my thing for me of the takeaway from Cincinnati side, run game slow right now. Joe Mixon, where is he? Can't find
Well,
him.
he's running hard, and the offensive line is momentum.
12 for
But
38. Where is he? We can go down the season.
no, they don't have. They're not capable.
Okay,
they're not capable of him getting 100 yards a game.
I understand what you're saying, but we're talking about proof as being in the put-in production, and we do have to have some type of factuals of numbers. Parlay 12 for 38. That's not good. The game before that, I don't think he's rushed for over 100 yards, and we're 6 games into the year. So,
no, yeah.
So
the only thing I'm saying is it's not Joe Mixon's fault. It's the O-line's fault.
I'm not blaming him, but I'm just saying he has to get going. I'm comparing it for last year's couple of years before. It's not that he ran crazy great, and to me, he was a top 3 running back. He's not better than Josh Jacobs. But what I'm saying is when Cincinnati's offense been rolling, he's been playing good from the ground game. Joe Burrow still is getting sacked. He had 3 sacks this last game. I don't know how his calf injury. No. I don't know how he's feeling.
Yeah.
To me,
that could
by Joe Burrow.
No, the Joe Burrow injury is a huge issue. I mean, it seems to be better now, but I agree with your point. If they can't run the ball, they're not going to go far in the playoffs or make the playoffs, and they can't run the ball. I mean, even though Joe Mixon's running hard, it doesn't matter. The O-line's not doing it for him.
Outside of like the 49ers to me, and even the Dolphins, we'll get to them soon. But those 2 teams, outside of those 2, I mean, the Jets are running the ball decently good with Breece Hall. But if you're not running the ball good and you become one-dimensional and you're not the Kansas City Chiefs or the Buffalo Bills where you're proven to win a lot of games, that's what I'm going to say is going to cost Cincinnati coming down the stretch. Is they're going to lose games that they're supposed to win because they don't have a run game, and we're still having Joe Burrow lingering on a calf injury that could be worse than what it is. So I'm very talking intellectual high IQ right now to say, hey, get a run game started. I'm not a Cincinnati fan, and I don't think that the O-line for any team is very fucking great right now outside of the Miami Dolphins and the 49ers to a point. And with Trent Williams getting kind of bruised up a little bit in that game, if he was to go out, we would, they probably call him back for Trey Lance because I really want to see what it's going to look like. I'm back on Brock Purdy. I really want to see what it's going to look like when he has to win some games. And so that's the same thing here, though. Joe Burrow has proven that he can win games with a shitty O-line. But the thing that I'm saying they're missing is the run game. To the Seattle side, I don't know, man. I don't want to say it. They paid him. I was proud that they paid Geno, and now he's kind of starting to look like a little glimpse of the New York Giants, New York Jets. Geno throwing some ill-advised throws there, 2 interceptions, taking a couple sacks that he didn't need to take, holding the ball a little bit too long. I just think that, man, it's so NFL right now offensively. I'm surprised by a lot of teams that were clicking last year. Like Geno Smith was playing lights out last year. There's just like no chemistry. As if, we're week 6, Parlay. This is different. Yes, if I was feeling this way at week 3 and then we start to see guys start to turn it on, it would be good. But now we're going into week 7, bro. Like chemistry got to start to be there. Play offensive coordinator perspective has to start to be better. And so that's the mixture of those 2 for Geno and the Seattle offense is a bad thing. Seattle defense, still good. I think did pretty good. I mean, holding Jamar Chase to 100 yards. T. Higgins, 2 catches for 20 yards. Tyler Boyd, 7 for 38. Although you're completing a lot of passes, there's not a lot of yards being downfield. Joe Burrow only threw for 185 yards. It's a hell of a game for the Seattle passing defense. And then they only rushed for 46 yards. They only had a total of under 250 yards total in NFL. That's a great game scripted by the defensive coordinator for Seattle Seahawks. So they're all Geno Smith threw for 323 yards. There's just no touchdowns to match it, and then there's televised throws there that shouldn't have been made. So
DK went down. Doesn't really matter, but no, I just want to say I think that we should. I should pull for the next episode. I got a whiteboard, and maybe we should start doing like a hierarchy of teams in the NFL because I want to add
top 5. We could do top 5.
Well, I got a top 7 for you, and I'm adding a team here that just came into the elite club.
It should be top 5, bro. 7 is
okay, but I got a new. I gotta say, there's 7 teams.
There's not. There's 5.
There's 7 teams, bro. Bro, just let me finish. There's 7 teams that I feel like could be in the Super Bowl because they have the chemistry and they have.
I'll tell you if they're name them, and I'll tell you if they could be
because they have the chemistry and they got the momentum right now, and they got the chemistry that you were saying. Like, it's week 7. Like, teams got to have chemistry, right? So I got the Chiefs. I got the and the Bengals aren't in this hierarchy like right now. I got the Chiefs, the 49ers, the Dolphins.
I'll put the Dolphins in there. They're not proven, but I'll put them in there.
The Bills.
Yep.
The Lions, and now the team that just entered is the Jags. The Jags just whooped the Colts, and so I think
that's only 6 though. You said 7, so that's why I said
Philadelphia.
You should just do 5. Okay, 7. Okay, I'll say this. I'm not putting the Jags in there, and respectfully, I'm not putting the Lions in there yet. The reason why I'm not putting the Lions, or you know what? I wouldn't put the Lions or the Dolphins in there yet. But I'll say they're in the top 5 teams right now in the NFL. If we're talking about winning the Super Bowl contention, I have to be critical. The Dolphins, the Lions, and the Jaguars have not proven to get over the hump in the playoffs, nor do I have that confidence right now to say that they can beat teams like the 49ers and the Eagles or the Chiefs in the playoffs. But yes,
you got
your top 7.
Yeah. You got a top 5. I got a top 7.
You said 7. I'll say the Kansas. I'm not no order. Kansas City Chiefs. The top 5 teams right now in the NFL: Kansas City Chiefs, Miami Dolphins, Detroit Lions, 49ers, and the 5th one, I would say it ain't the Jags.
It ain't Philly?
I said Kansas City Chiefs, Dolphins, 49ers, Lions, and then it might be Philly. Let me see.
What about the Chiefs? It's not the Chiefs.
I did put the Chiefs in there.
Oh.
I would put Philly right there. Put Philly right there at 5. Not putting the Bills in there. Not putting the Cowboys in there. Not gonna put the Ravens in there. So not putting the Jaguars in there. The Jaguars are too up and down for me right now. One week they're looking phenomenal, clicking on all cylinders. And first of all, this game shouldn't. Now that we go to this next pivot into this next segment of Jaguars Coast game, that game shouldn't even been 37-20. They were up 30-6 at one point. Should have really, you gotta to be an elite team, you gotta show prominence of dominating the team for 4 quarters. The coach without Anthony Richardson, Gardner Minshew is a hell of a backup quarterback. That dude knows how to play on any system, compete versus anybody, and continue to make plays. And so I respect to him. That dude's a dog. I played against him in the junior college national championship back in 2015. Didn't know who the kid was. Didn't know who the guy was at the time. Called him a kid. He's a grown man just like me. Didn't know who the guy was at the time. But Gardner Minshew is a dog. I will respectfully say that. He's earned his keep to be a quarterback in the NFL, come in as a backup, a game man. He was on the Jaguars. If we want to remember that.
Hey, what was he like in junior college?
I mean, the game I played, I was on a broken ankle. I was on a high ankle sprain, but I played for 2 drives. This dude, by far, picked us apart, bro. This dude, and I studied for hours. I have it over here. I ain't got time to pull it up, but I gotta. I maybe show it next time if we have any more Gardner Minshew, uh, highlights on the pod. I'll definitely add some more. But I had a packet of a whole scouting report, bro, and everything I said. He was just a savvy ball player, like a young, really Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre to me, a gunslinger. Like he takes the chances, and it showed in this game. I mean, threw for 329 yards. The Jaguars defense is supposed to be way better than it was last year. They're a little bit older, have more discipline. Their run game is getting there with Travis Etienne, but I don't know. I mean, they play the Saints this week and on a Thursday night and a short week, and Trevor Lawrence may not play. Saints coming off a tough loss versus Texans. So
if Trevor Lawrence is out, they're definitely not in that hierarchy. I'm just saying.
I mean,
they're coming together last week. Everything's starting to come together for them.
Even with him in, I'll give them this credit. The game they came back and beat the Chargers last year in the playoffs. We know who the Chargers are. Brandon Stokely should have lost his job then. So I'll give them credit for showing some fight to be that at that point. But through 6 weeks in this year's season, I can't put them in the top 5 right now. Cannot. They don't show enough consistency for me to say that they can beat the Dolphins. They can beat the Chiefs. They lost to the Chiefs. They can beat the Eagles. They can beat the 49ers. And they can't. I think they could compete with the Lions, but Lions playing at full cylinder right now. The Lions are the team to meet.
Now, my point was the chemistry part about it's week 7 now. Chemistry. What teams have chemistry? The Chiefs don't really have chemistry like that. And I just saw the Jags starting to gain some more chemistry. Philly and the Niners all have had their chemistry since week 1. I mean, I think the Dolphins have good chemistry. So, I mean, the Eagles. I think that, and the Lions got chemistry. You can just tell. And I'll leave the Bills out of that chemistry point too. They were in the top 7. I think that they'll get it. It's like right on the edge, but I'll take the Bills out of it. And it's like when you start going to the playoffs, you go to the Super Bowl, you got to have the run game on point. The defense has to make up for the issues if there are issues on offensive mistakes, but you can't really have offensive mistakes. And the defense has to be able to come back if you just threw an interception. They have to be able to make a stop. So it's like. I just feel like the Jags are starting to get it together now. And, they got a lot of playmakers on that defense. So,
but 1 week, and my guy still for the comeback player of the year, Calvin Ridley, 1 week he's got 100, 1 week he's got 2 targets. So what are we doing here? I agree with you. That's why
he's not very consistent. That guy in particular, not very consistent.
Let's not say that guy is not consistent, please. Let's say the coaching staff
No, he is inconsistent. He drops balls. Pause.
Thank you for the pause moment, but just
be dropping them.
Just take it easy. Take it easy over there. Just saying.
He be dropping them, bro.
Anyways, on to these rapid fire picks. Week 7, man.
Let's get it. You know what it is. Rapid fire.
We should have an effect.
Where's my lighter?
Thursday night, as we speak, Jacksonville Jaguars.
T-Law's out.
Trevor Lawrence may play. I don't even know what the injury is. I just got some inside reports from one of my dogs who's a Saints fan. So, Jaguars at the Saints. Saints coming off a tough loss, which they should have won, to me, in the Texans with the Jameson. I know you've seen the Jameis Winston and Alvin Kamara meme by now. That shit is hilarious. Can't wait for Louis to do a skit to that. Alvin Kamara was just like, but Derek Carr, very inconsistent. Like I said, I don't think he was going to be the savior. He's showing his inconsistency, bro. It's looking bad for the Saints. Their defense 1 week is a top 5 defense. They play like. Some weeks they don't. CJ Stroud, we didn't get to that real quick. And we don't even need to share that much. We didn't get to this point, but CJ Stroud, rookie of the year, hands down. We could say one-liner about this. The guy's going to win this. He's light years ahead of any rookie offensively right now. Bijan Robinson, Zay Flowers, you name it. Nobody's playing better than CJ Stroud right now, rookie wise, even defensively. Overall, as a rookie, he's making the most impact, not only just because he's a quarterback of the Houston Texans, he's giving the Texans life. He's reviving that city, bro. Houston is now known not only to be a baseball, basketball. CJ Stroud, throw up the H Town parlay. So, back to rapid fire questions. Jacksonville at New Orleans. I like New Orleans to win here. Line is opening up at -1, over under at 339.5. I like this. I like, who did I say? I said the Lions. I meant to say the Saints. I like the Saints to win here. I'm tired, hungry, and I still got to work out. I like the Saints to win here. The reason why, they're at home. Trevor Lawrence questionable to play. I think the Saints are due for a win. And I think that this is a game where Alvin Kamara can get loose. I think a part of the Derek Carr problems go back to coaching. I think that they don't have a Sean Payton at coordinator, so it's hard to get that back to that how the Saints used to play as a schema offense. A lot of getting the running back involved in the passing game, running game, dink and dunk, working down the field, and then opening up the pass game. So I think Alvin Kamara has a good game here. I want him to have a good game. He's on my fantasy team, but I like the Saints. I will take the Saints -1 point.
I will take the under. Every single one of these Saints games feels like forever to get things going. It's a low under, so it's not like you're getting any value or anything. It's 39.5. But if Trevor Lawrence is injured, and he doesn't play, that's for me, the best way to look at it is the under 39.5. Just because I also see the Jags defense playing well. Saints defense is pretty good too. And the Carr is still, I don't really know what's up with Derek Carr. He just doesn't, I think that he's better off in New Orleans than Vegas. But yeah, it hasn't really gotten going there yet. So I would hop on the under.
Raiders at the Bears. No easy pick here. No Justin Fields. Bears kind of made it interesting with the Vikings last week. One thing I will say, and I will say about the Las Vegas Raiders, Max fucking Crosby is a dog. Doesn't get a lot of because the Raiders are so average, but that dude
it'd be good to see a top 5. Well, also it'd be good to do a top 5 pass rushers in the league.
It really would,
because I think he might crack that top 5.
I think
5.
I think if you want me to go, I'm going to put number 1.
Right.
Nah, I'm not going to even.
Micah Parsons.
I would put Micah Parsons number 1.
No, T.J. Watt, Nick Bosa.
I'll say this: it's a tie because when Micah Parsons, Micah didn't show up all last night, but when he had to make a play, it's crazy. So I'm putting T.J. Watt 1, Micah Parsons 1B, so really number 2. Then for me, I'll put Joey Bosa, Myles Garrett, and then I'll put Max Crosby in.
Ooh, you forgot?
Khalil Mack and Nick Bosa.
Aiden Hutchinson.
Oh, he's not. He's balling, but to me, he's not. He hasn't dominated enough. When I think of I'll be respectful. When I think about the Lions, Aiden Hutchinson and the dog.
Hey, and you didn't even say Aaron Donald.
I didn't say Aaron Donald, but then again, the Rams defense, Aaron Donald, it's not like.
Yeah, I like your top 5 though. It's good.
I'm saying I'm not saying all time. I'm not saying the last 5 years. If we're based off
right now,
Aaron Donald's not looking like Aaron Donald. I mean, he's playing great, but it's not like he's winning games for them. They're winning games offensively, and they're just he's still making plays, but it's not like we're watching the Rams highlights and we're like, oh, Aaron Donald, there he goes again. No.
So if we did a top 7,
you're seeing Max Crosby.
If we did a top 7, would Aaron Donald be higher than Aiden Hutchinson and Max Crosby?
Aaron Donald, because if I'm gonna base it off of production, talent, and just overall dog, yes, he's better than him. And he's proven.
Game record.
And he's proven.
So you got Donald ahead of Hutchinson
because of Aaron Rodgers.
You got Donald ahead of Hutchinson.
Yes, I do.
Okay. Let's go on to the next game.
Tape and you watch the Pittsburgh Steelers, you're gonna see that 90 is literally winning us games. Literally
Yeah,
90
we know
is
TJ
winning us.
Watt. We know
So,
TJ Watt's the best. We know TJ Watt's the best.
anyways, I like the Raiders to win
Okay,
Justin Fields.
yeah,
I don't have confidence in the Bears at all. Bears should have.
I don't have confidence in the Bears either. Yeah, so I'd have to go with the Raiders as well.
I'll lay the points with the Raiders -3. Browns versus Colts. This is an interesting game because now the Browns coming off a very emotional win versus the 49ers, giving them their first loss. Colts coming off a tough loss versus the Jaguars. No, Gardner Minshew's probably looking to play again for Anthony Richardson. We don't know if Deshaun Watson is going to play yet. Um, I will still lean to the Browns, and I will lean to the under. I'd say under. I'll buy 1.5. I'd say under 40.5. But if I was to pick a winner, I'd say the Browns.
Yeah, Deshaun still might not be playing. I'd take Cleveland -2. I think that there's probably some value there. That defense is arguably the best in the league. I think they showed the way that the line was moving with that 49ers game. It opened up. You know, they didn't know if Deshaun was playing. When they thought Deshaun might play, it was 49ers -4. And then Deshaun went out and it was 49ers -11. And then it slowly came down to 9 by game time. And then the Browns won. And I think that the way that, like, the Browns, I feel like the way that the money is coming in on the Browns is that the money and the viewers are the people, you know, who study and break it down with analytics and stuff. And a lot of it has to do with matchups. But no matter what, 49ers are a tough matchup, way tougher than the Colts. So I would have to rock with Cleveland -2.
I got it. Bills at the Patriots this week. I think the main thing for me in the betting scheme, and we do not.
And bro, you have been trying to make the Patriots happen.
I have, but I'll say this: we do not bet, but we give betting advice.
Disclaimer, this is not a gambling show. This is not financial advice. This is just what we talk about, what we do with our own opinions of what we think might happen. This is not financial advice.
So Bills disappointed me last week. They had a +16.5 spread. They weren't Giants took that very to heart, played very emotional. I have been trying to make the Patriots good. I think that I'm not going to do that this week. The Bills will cover the spread. Give me the Bills -8.5. They got to get back on putting up some points. I think this is a big day for Stephon Diggs, big day for Josh Allen. And you know what? I would like to see that Bills defense over sack column. And I think no Judon for the Patriots. The offense is just looking very shitty. I think Bill Belichick has to be removed of his duties of general manager and whatever else they gave him and just be a head coach. And then I think he needs to go get a new offensive coordinator. And then they need to get back to the Patriots way. Don't go. I think where he went bad was trying to go sign a bunch of guys that were like average at best outside of Matthew Judon in free agency and paying guys. Go back to the Patriots way. Don't pay guys. Develop them. Make them good. You know, don't give Jalen Mills $60 million. Don't give Kendrick Bourne $40 million. You get what I'm saying? Like, it didn't even last with neither tight end that you brought in. What was the 2 tight ends they had brought in? Fuck, I can't even remember their name, but both of them are not there anymore.
They got Gesicki and Hunter Henry.
Henry's there, but the other one, he's with the Titans, I think, or whatever. He left. So, or with the Falcons, Jonas Smith or whatever his name is. He was there too. He was paid like another $30 million. So I think the Patriots need a lot of restructuring after this season. Give me the Bills -8.5.
So shout out to Damian Harris. He played for the Patriots.
Yeah.
He's currently on the Bills. He had a bad injury, but it turns out he's going to be okay. So God bless Damian Harris. Get well.
Real
I think
quick,
that
like Bills are getting tired of that, man. They're getting tired of like injuries in their games like that, man. every time. It's like it seems like the Bills are a part of that, and it's
You know what's interesting as well? Did you see at the end of the game with the Giants, the head coaches of the head coach of the Giants and the head coach of the Bills went up to shake hands, and they actually basically dubbed each other.
Oh no, I didn't see that. You might have to show me.
Yeah, yeah. So there's probably some beef there because obviously, head coach of the Giants, Dalball, used to work for McDermott, for the Bills as an OC, our offensive line coach too. But yeah, so this game, the only way I can look at it, I'm going to be a little tricky here. Buffalo, I would do Buffalo like -4.5 at halftime, just because I don't really the over under is 41.5, and I think that they're saying, okay, this is a get back game for the Patriots. So if it's a get back game for the Patriots and they do try to get some scores up, I would only put my own finances on, or what I'd only put my own ish on the Bills, because I wouldn't put my ish on the Patriots, because I had to do it at halftime just because of the 41.5 just kind of makes me think it's, I don't know, it's just like, or the 8.5, it probably, I think that nobody knows what the Patriots are going to do, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So I'd have to go with like a halftime like spread with the Bills.
Alrighty, Washington going into the MetLife Stadium to play your G-men.
God, these over-unders are so
39
small. Bro,
Hey,
there's like
hey,
everything is below 40.
this last week, told my boy B, shout out my boy B. Uh, every game went under when it was supposed to go over. So this week, every game will go over because all the over unders are very low. So this game right here, I could see some points quietly on both sides. I think Tyrod Taylor played a decent game. I think he'll play better than this. Saquon was back in the mix. They kept the game close. The defense played good for the Giants. Washington -2 over under 39.5. I will say, and I'm gonna go out on a limb, because Washington has been one of those teams that have not been very consistent in consistency. Daboll needs a win. I'm gonna say Giants +2 here. Give me Giants +3.5. I'm gonna buy a 1.5.
A little bit of momentum on Washington's side. I thought Sam Howell played better last week. They won. So I mean, I think that there's a little bit of momentum, but also the Giants look better with Tyrod Taylor. You can tell Tyrod Taylor has so much experience in the league, and they're not supposed to win games. They're gonna win games. They know who they are. If they're gonna win games, they're gonna win it like 14-7. Like that is who the Giants are. So it's like, I mean, shoot, I don't know if Tyrod's gonna play, but I mean, right now, um, Daniel Jones is just like, I can't. I just, I don't know. I mean, Tyrod was just okay. It wasn't amazing by any means at all, but it was just. I think that the over 39.5, that looks to me the best way to go for me. I think that the Giants, a little bit more. I don't know. I think Commanders score, and I think the Giants have motivation, and they're at home. So if the Giants can score 21 or something, and Commanders can score 25 or something like that, then it goes over. So that's where I'd be looking.
Falcons at the Bucks. I like the Bucks here, plain and simple. I think this is a get back game for them. Took a tough loss. I think they kind of underestimated how good the Lions were. I think we all did. I think I did for sure. Lions are for real. I do like the Bucks to bounce back here. I don't know if I would take a lay the points with them at -2.5, but I do believe that they win this game. So that's all I got to say about this one.
This would be my hammer. Pause. This would be my hammer. Bucks -2.5.
You want to describe that, because we're not understanding.
Hammer, you know what I'm saying?
Are you saying this is the shellac game of the week, or what are you saying?
Could be. I would hammer the Bucks -2.5. I just think that they came off of a bye last week against a Detroit team who might go to the Super Bowl, might make a run to the Super Bowl. Bucks, are they're good like that. I mean, there's only 5 teams in the hierarchy, right? 5 to 7 teams. Detroit made it on both of our hierarchies. I just think that so the Bucks came off of a bye last week, and you never really know, like, off of a bye if it's going to be, what's going to happen. And so I think that the Bucks though have shown that they're a good team. They're better than mediocre. Falcons are still either mediocre or terrible, and I don't trust Desmond Ridder. So I would hammer Bucks -2.5 at home, and I would look that line will probably move to 3.5 by Sunday.
All righty, Lions going into the Ravens. This is kind of probably one of the better games of the week for me. This is going to see how good the Ravens are. Obviously, the Lions have been playing great. They've been proven. I don't think they're going to be
favored.
I don't think they're going to be afraid of the Ravens defense. They're not favored. Baltimore is -3 at home.
That's what I'm saying. Baltimore's favored. That's interesting.
I would definitely take the over in this game for 2 reasons. I don't think that Baltimore's defense is good enough to slow down the Lions offense. Just has not been shown that way for me. I think that Tennessee putting up 16, I think the Lions can very much so. You know who I need to give credit to and some respect, and people wrote him off? Jared motherfucking Goff. He is balling.
God, look at this. 1,600 yards, 11 touchdowns, 3 interceptions.
You want to talk about a quarterback that redeemed himself? He is actually showing us that it doesn't always have to be the first team you go to. He's showing us that he was rightfully so the number 1 pick in that draft. And you know what? It did work some years for the Rams. It just didn't work overall to get them a championship, but it sure hell is working for the Lions. So
and the year that it worked for the Rams, they had to trade their whole future away for the next 5 years in draft picks. Yeah. So, if any decent team does that, you're going to get Jalen Ramsey and a bunch of D linemen. Of course, that D line was stacked. The whole front 7 was stacked. I'm gonna rock with the points on the Lions at +3. I just think that, like, even if they do lose it, I think that they keep it close.
That looks like a fillet. That looks like a jelly. That looks like a layup to me right there. +3, +3.5 with the Lions. Easy call. Oh yeah, my game of the week. The Pittsburgh Steelers traveling to SoFi.
This is actually
LA. Go up LA.
Y'all could win this, honestly.
And what line coming in? Rams -3, over under at 44. Give me the
Rams are suspect.
Give me the Pittsburgh Steelers +3.5, and I'm taking under 45.5. I'm taking under 45.
Yeah, Kupp. I mean, even though Cooper Kupp is back, Rams are still a little suspect to me.
Put up a fight in the first half of that game. It got unraveled in the second half. So I think we have a better defense than Arizona, obviously with some pass rushers that can get to the quarterback. Rams O-line is trash. Rams running game is okay. Their passing game is good when Matthew Stafford gets time, but I think TJ Watt playing on this turf is going to be like a fucking track meet. Him and Alex Highsmith to the quarterback. Let's get rowdy. Here we go, Steelers 4-2, getting us, you feel me, in a good win column. Still, like, not at our full potential. Freaking Matt Canada, can you get it together? Can we put some more points up? Can we get our offensive running game using Jaylen Warren? I don't know. I didn't talk about this yet. We might talk about this later in the year. I possibly thought about this, maybe sober, not sober, but trading Najee wouldn't be a bad deal. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, get some O-line. I would take the under here. I think that the Steelers are gonna give the Rams some problems. I think TJ Watt's gonna have a great game. So that's the way I would look at it. Under 44. And that's the only way I'm gonna look at it.
Cardinals at the Seahawks. Shout out to my boy Nicky Rollis, man. He's doing a hell of a job trying to compete with, a team that was just inherited to him. he doesn't have his first recruits or his first real free agency splash or really even first draft. They were brought in 2 months before the draft. So now that he's going to have a full year under his belt next year, I expect a lot better.
D coordinator for the Arizona Cardinals, Nicky Rallis.
My brother, you feel me? Mob ties. I think this game, though, I think Seattle gets back on the win column. I don't think this is good for the Cardinals. I think I've seen enough from Josh Dobbs. I rolled with them last week versus the Rams, and it didn't cover for me. I'm going to have to roll with Seattle on this one at a minus. I will take it at a -7. And then I will take the under here as well. I just don't think that they're competing, but I think I'll say this: if DK doesn't play though, I'll roll with the Cardinals plus 8.5. But if DK does play, I think that brings in enough firepower for Geno to kind of get back in the rhythm game. That Seattle defense is a mother. I think that though, if they could score on the Giants defensively, I damn sure know they could score on the Cardinals.
Yeah, way I would look at it is under 44.5. And, that's a shout out to Nicky Rallis, D coordinator for the Cardinals, holding it down with, holding Seattle down to, 20 points, whatever. I think he could do that. They can do that. And, the offense of the Cardinals is a little, it's pretty bad. James Conner is out and Dobbs isn't that good. They had a thing going with Conner. Ingram, the running back, is probably going to start getting some carries. Keyshawn Ingram, I don't know if you're familiar. You probably watched him in college. I'm not really familiar, but
one of my good friends is his agent. So, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I would look for him. I'll be looking at him getting some touches. But that's the way I would look at it, under 44.5.
Good call. Green Bay going to the Broncos. I like this game. I think Green Bay needs to get back on the win column. I think they win.
You like this game?
I like this game for Green Bay.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Maybe because I just went to their facilities a couple weeks ago. I've never been a real Packers fan. I always respected, never really hated them. Like I did. Like when I would root for the Vikings versus Packers, always gonna take the Vikings, being from Minnesota. But I respect the Packers, and I think I like Jordan Love. I do. He's my fantasy quarterback. I'm rooting for this dude. I think he has mad potential to be great. I think this is one of the games that he has to show that now. Now, they've bashed you. They said they've given you grace because you're young and this is your first time really starting. You've thrown interceptions. Now play better. Take what you took away from the bye week and losing to Las Vegas week before in the Sunday night, and take this game now and have a great game. I think the Packers defense needs to get back on a roll as well, and I think they take this game. I'm not sold on this project. I think Sean Payton is a good coach, but I think that they need to get rid of a lot of players, including Russell Wilson. Maybe restructure his contract. If he doesn't want to restructure, I would let Russ go. I mean, let him ride off into the sunset with Sierra and $200-something million and figure out what we're going to do for quarterback situations. I like the Green Bay Packers here, -1.
All right, so just to make it interesting, now I'm not really going to actually put any of my actual financials on the Broncos because they're a bad team. But for the sake of the podcast, I'll take the Broncos. I think that it's a game where basically I don't, you saw the game last week when Sean Payton was holding his playbook and you could see his plays on the back and it went viral. And so all of his plays were exposed on the internet. Like his whole playbook that, when they're doing it.
That's what you think. They want you to think that.
They might, yeah, maybe. So I think that there's so much heat. There's so much fire under the Broncos right now that and the Packers to me it's more of like for me, it's like a motivation thing where it's like, I think that the Broncos are motivated to prove that they're not completely ASS. And the Packers, I see inconsistency with Jordan Love. I see moments of him throwing great balls, but then pause. But I also see moments of him throwing ducks. And I just think it's at Denver. I would have to, so I would rock with them for the motivation factor. And both teams are bad. Both teams aren't going to make the playoffs. So, I think I'd have to go. I'd go with the Broncos money line, and then the under 44.5 because it could be. I just see it as possibly being a shellacking, as you like to say. And really, that's just Denver defense. Their run defense is actually really good. Their run defense is sick.
Would
Um,
you make a wager just between us, a case of beer, maybe? We'll just start a trend like Shannon and Skip used to do. We could just start a trend because I just totally disagree. I don't know what you
how
see.
how about a bottle of Hennessy?
That's a bet. That's a bet. And then
All right.
so what I'll do is whoever wins will show the receipt of the Cash App that we sent the money. You can go buy it yourself. I'll buy it myself and then I'll just because I'm not drinking right now. I'll just store it up. So yeah, we can buy each other liquor every week now. Yeah, we can for games like this. We won't do it every week, but in this sense, when we're going we normally kind of agree, but for the show's sake, we kind of always go opposite ways. But we're going opposite ways because we're just clearly opposite on this. And I just don't see what you see. I don't know if it's because you look like, I don't know if you're going for the Ray Charles look or, I don't know what you don't see that the Broncos are not good at all. And the Packers have a potential great defense. Not a great defense, but a good defense with great players there. Alexander, their rush defense. You feel me? And then they got a quarterback who's just young and who's figuring himself out. The Broncos,
The Broncos play a Thursday night game. Thursday night games are tough.
and they came off of a tough loss because they stayed in the game. So they're going back home. Green Bay off a bye week. But hey, you buy me my Hennessy and make sure, hey, it's enough money to buy me Hennessy White. I never had the Hennessy White. So that's
Okay.
it. Here, shake on the camera so the people can see. There we go. Yes, sir. All righty. Chargers at the Chiefs. -5.5 on the Chiefs. 48 over under. I like this game to go over. This is one of the
Yeah.
I'm going to be confidently that it goes over 48 points. And just the way it's looking right now,
I
I'm not so like sometimes I'll be sold to bet because the Chargers have had potential to beat the Chiefs, but I'm not sold after what I seen last night. And that might shift. It might grow on me to change my answer. So I'm just gonna stick with the over going 48 points.
Mhm. I like your pick. Honestly, the history of these two
Going
teams.
Chargers way.
No, the history though is gonna say I'm from my point of view is that the under hits actually a lot, and I don't, and I think that it's like kind of a, it's something that I think the Chiefs can control the ball better. Pause, and I think that they kind of purposely, like to run the ball in these games and control the ball, but I can see why you go with your over. So like really what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna like hedge my bets, which would be like the Chiefs -5.5. I like because I don't like the Chargers. I love the Chiefs, but I would do a same game parlay that has ridiculous odds. Plus 500, whatever, plus 600, plus 1,000. Get a boost on FanDuel. And I would do the over, I would put in the same game parlay because the potential is there for a Mahomes 350-yard game, a Herbert 350-yard game, an Allen 85 yards, 8 catches, whatever, like a Kelsey touchdown, 85 yards. Like it has the potential to have crazy stats. So that's what I'm gonna do.
No, I understand. I agree with your game plan for the Kansas City Chiefs. They like to run the ball. Their new identity is simple because they're still trying to find a playmaker too at the receiver spot. So it's hard for them to kind of force the air game. But in this, they're going to have to force it through the air because I think that the Chargers are going to have to come in and play like they have traditionally versus the Chiefs. And they're going to have to want to, their game plan is going to, we have to score. We got to score early and we got to put up points. We got to make the Chiefs want to we got to make them make this a track meet. You get what I'm saying? That's why I like the over, because I think the Chargers understand if the Chiefs' new kind of game plan goes into the Chiefs' favor, they have no chance because they control the clock, control the ball, and that is not just how the Chargers work as far as their offense. So I think this is going to go over because the Chargers are going to use their fucking first round draft pick. Shout out to my boy Q, who's the agent of Quentin Johnston and Keyshawn Ingram, my boy Q, my boy from Arkansas. They're gonna have they're gonna have to use Quentin Johnston, and they're gonna have to use Josh Palmer. They're gonna have to use Austin Eckler in the pass game, obviously Keenan Allen, and they're gonna have to put some points up. So it's gonna go over for me. On to the Sunday night, man. We're getting hungry. Gotta get it to the workout. Gotta get to the gym. Yes. But on to the Sunday night. Dolphins going to the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles just signed Julio. I don't know if he'll play. Eagles also wearing their, sick fire unis. Their 1980s Eagles green unis. I seen Gilly was a little bit mad. Eagles losing to the bum Jets, as he would say. I don't know who to pick here. In the over-under, Phillies -2, over-under's at 52. I'm going to let you go. I want to hear what you got to say about this before I make a decision.
It's interesting. Every Eagles game, they hold the ball for a quarter. Like, they hold the ball for the whole first quarter. They run 20 plays on offense. It's hard to go over 52 for me. And the only reason is, like, if you just think that for whatever reason, the Eagles are going to change what they normally do and try to keep up with the Dolphins. I don't really see that happening, just because of what I've seen. But it could happen, and it almost makes me afraid to do something there. Philly -2 at Philadelphia. I mean, I would have to. I'd go with Miami. I'd take Miami with the points.
I'll say this: who's got the best player in this game? I got to roll with, and it's got to be Tyreek Hill. So the fact that they got Tyreek Hill, a guy that can change the game, I have never, and I'm no disrespect to my boy Big Play Slay, Darius Slay. I've never seen anybody shut this man down at corner.
This guy, he has 814 yards.
That's what I'm saying. He's only 184 yards away from 1,000 yards in 7 games. That's faster than anybody in the NFL. So, off of 42 receptions too. Think about that. If you divide that, how many yards that is? That's crazy per game. So, wow. I'm with you, Parlay. I know we don't agree a lot, but give me the Dolphins, and I'll tease this up just to secure my bet if I was to bet. Last game of the week, 49ers coming into Minneapolis. No Justin Jefferson. Hey, Hillemeyer, Parlay, you want to let them know what this is, the game of the week for me?
This is the shellacking game of the week. I already know.
Shellac game of the week here. San Francisco -7. They got to get back on the winning column. It's still questionable about Christian McCaffrey, DK Metcalf. I said DK Metcalf. DKD, Bo Samuel. Trent Williams will play. He wasn't banged up as bad. I think 49ers defense wants to prove that they want to play better than they did. Although they didn't, although that the Browns didn't score a lot of points, there was a lot of big plays through the air and in the run game. I think the Browns ran the ball the best out of any team has ran the ball on the 49ers this year. So I think Fred Warner, this is another staple game for him. Somewhere up there with 11 tackles, a couple tackles for a loss, another interception, maybe another forced fumble. Kirk Cousins will throw. I guarantee this too. Kirk Cousins for sure will throw 2 interceptions in this game. I like the 49ers to blow the Vikings out. This is the shellacking game of the week. Playing Monday night. Not an interesting game.
Yeah, if McCaffrey's out, Jordan Mason and Elijah Mitchell, but we haven't seen a lot of Elijah Mitchell, but Jordan Mason still looks pretty good. I think that it's levels to this, and shout out to Dutch on Dutch with he's got another betting show. He's got on betting. I'm blanking right now, but Dutch Fresh on Twitter. He's awesome. Anyway, it's levels to this. San Francisco is hierarchy tier level 1 elite. Vikings are very just. I mean, without Justin Jefferson as well, I just don't see. I think that even with McCaffrey out, it's like almost like a statement game for San Francisco.
Understandable. Well, man, hey, another week under the books, another week getting better, man. As always, I'm Lifeofdgreen.
I'm Parlay Hunter.
Hey, man, always follow, like, subscribe to the live. I hope you guys are enjoying this format. We're going to clean up things, get things more polished, get things more tuned. I do like this more. It's more free, fun, talking with you guys, lively, interacting with you all, man. Hey, as always, I say bet responsibly. Parlay says this is
not financial advice.
This is not financial advice. Always, hey man, our motto is this is two men with one dream to make you rich, though. I do hope to make you rich off of just my life advice through football that I'm giving you. Ha! You like how I did that on Parlay? Anyway, hey, follow us up on Bro Bro Media, on Instagram, on TikTok, on X, on our YouTube, man. Go back and check out some of our historic stuff. Shout out to Parlay, man. He's got a new album out, man. The Spiritual Growth. Check out his latest music videos. Hey, you want to mention anything about that? Been going. Appreciate it. Love my dog. Been going hard, man. Working his ass off. Pause. Hey, music videos going crazy, man. Hey, who that shorty in that one music video
though? Her name is Devon, and she's on Instagram. She's tagged in the videos and stuff. So if she's got a boutique and stuff. She's awesome. The video was directed by Only. He's awesome. He's tagged. And yeah, the music videos are dope. The album is dope. We're just promoting that thing all year. So yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. And good luck this week.
Hey man, we signing off. Until next week, y'all be easy, be smooth, man. Be love.